Hello my friends, it's Ebird Online. I've come across a little bit of juicy gossip for you. Guys, it's regarding Amanda Wilhelm. That's Amanda from Amanda and Razvan on this season's Before the 90 Days. So guys, I found out a few things about Amanda, and as far as I'm concerned, it really does help to complete the jigsaw puzzle. Oh my god guys, it's about to get juicy. There's far more to Amanda than meets the eye. So guys, first up, well, after you've liked and subscribed and shared the video, first up, I want to say a massive shout out to one of my long-time subscribers, Samson Goma. And Samson wrote a comment which piqued my interest, and he said the more I read about Amanda, the more I believe she's a vampire in human form. And so guys, I looked on a couple of sites and discovered that Jason was almost 15 years older than Amanda, and he met her at the age of 19. And so when I read this, I thought interesting, and actually very believable. I'd always wondered how somebody so young had such an aggressive form of cancer. And I'd never heard of this type of cancer, so I looked into it when I first heard about it, and I read that most people that get this are over 70 years of age. So yeah, I was somewhat surprised, because of course I'd kind of assumed they were a similar age. And so that was the first thing, but then Samson dropped a real bombshell, and he alluded to Amanda's chaotic and violent past. And I thought, what? Since when? So even though it was a Saturday, I let my fingers go a-snooping. And guys, guess what I found? Yes, that's right. I discovered that Amanda Wilhelm is not all she seems. There have been allegations of cheating and manipulation. There's been assault and battery and criminal charges. And guys, don't get me started on her family. Surprised? I didn't think you would be. So guys, let's get into this mess. So the very first thing that I wanted to address was her relationship with her late husband. And so apparently her late husband Jason said that he wanted her to find love again and not to just pine for him. And so a lot of people have said how come she met Razvan so quickly? But it was because she was kind of, I guess, given a green light. And so Jason died at the age of 45 on the 19th of March 2022. And she met Razvan just 4 months later. Well guys, guess what? The streets are saying that she met Razvan before Jason died. Now, there is a little bit of evidence for this, which I'm going to go over later. I'm still not thoroughly convinced, but one thing's for sure, Amanda's timeline simply doesn't stack up. But how did Amanda and Jason meet? How did they get together? Well, it took me quite a little bit of time to find any information out about this, but apparently he was 33 and Amanda just 19 when the couple met. Now guys, this makes every bit of sense to me. I've always thought that Amanda was stunted emotionally in terms of relationships. And obviously, with Jason being quite a bit older than Amanda, I think she was very likely infantilized in the relationship. And if you look at Amanda, when she flirts with Razvan, she flirts like a girl still in high school. She's very giggly and she's very childlike. Guys, she low-key gives me teen mum. And I also think because there was such an age gap between these two, that Amanda's used to somebody absolutely adoring her and really taking care of her. And according to Reddit detectives, there's a little bit of information to say that Jason was married previously and that he's got an older daughter or 2 older daughters. Now I couldn't find anything on this online except for his old Pinterest. Thanks once again, courtesy of Reddit. And he's got a whole file dedicated to alienated fathers, which would suggest that maybe he was prevented from seeing his older children. But I really can't find any definitive verification for any of this outside of Pinterest, but here's what I found anyway. But guys, a lot of people have been alleging that Amanda actually cheated on Jason with Razvan. Now I'm not entirely sure about this, but somebody very kindly made a timeline of Amanda and Razvan's relationship history. And so I want to say a big shout out and a big thank you to Tiny Girl Big Jeep on Reddit for making this timeline. Her tagline is, "Men's doesn't control me." Sound familiar? Guys, I hollered. That was Juliana, wasn't it? Juliana and Michael. Well, guys, that one ended badly as well. So back to the timeline. As we see here, in 2010, Jason and Amanda meet. And in 2014, the couple get married. In 2019, very sadly, Amanda's mum passed away. I've got more on Amanda's mum a little bit later. Stay tuned. In July 2021, Jason starts to feel ill, but strangely, in October 2021, this is when friends of Razvan claimed that he and Amanda started talking, and this is 5 months before Jason actually passed away. Now this may or may not be true. I'm taking this with a massive pinch of salt, mainly because they met online, and who knows where innocent talking stops and relationships begin, so who knows. And as I said earlier, on March 19th, 2022, Jason passed away. Then on April the 9th, 2022, there's allegedly a phone call between Razvan and Amanda's kids. Amanda denies this. How do we know this? Because it was actually filmed on August the 9th, but she said at that point, my kids have known about Razvan for about 4 months. So that takes us back to April the 9th. On April the 10th, very unfortunately, more terrible news for Amanda. Her older sister, Ashley, passed away. So she's actually had a very hard time of it. But guys, then, on May the 4th, 2022, Razvan makes a tribute on his TikTok to Amanda. Now, unfortunately, this is no longer available, but this seems to be an irrefutable bit of evidence that they were at least seeing each other on that date, and that puts us about 6 weeks from Jason passing. I don't know how long it takes somebody to make a TikTok tribute, but I would imagine you'd been seeing each other at least a few weeks. So it confirmed that they were talking at that point, but not necessarily that they were seeing each other. Maybe Razvan made his TikTok tribute in order to try and woo her. July 2022, Amanda claims this is when she and Razvan started being flirtatious online, and that could actually be true. But if it is, then this puts paid to her claim that they were talking for 4 months before she went over to Romania. And so Amanda first landed in Romania early August 2022. Just 5 months after Jason had passed. And how do we know this? Well, during the actual recording of the show, Amanda was in Romania already and she phoned her kids back home. And eagle-eyed viewers managed to see the date on her phone. And that date was August the 9th, 2022. But Amanda claims that filming took place at the end of 2022 and the beginning of January 2023. Guys, I can tell you that it definitely wasn't at this time. Because in addition to the phone call, which dates it in August, but guys, the weather tells us something different. It was nowhere near cold enough for it to have been December or January. It's very, very cold there. And they were both walking round in the sunshine wearing t-shirts. But Amanda has insisted online that filming took place 4 months later. And I would wonder, what's the reason for the discrepancy in all of these dates? Guys, it's very interesting. And then obviously in June 2023, that was when the first episode of Before the 90 Days Season 6 aired. Yeah, so these timelines suggest that Amanda knew Razvan a long time before she was actually admitting to it. And so a lot of people are alleging she was speaking to Razvan whilst Jason was still alive. This doesn't conclusively prove it to me, but it would seem that by May the 4th at the latest, they were in some sort of a relationship. Amanda denies all of this. Amanda's timeline is significantly different from the timeline that's here. Here's what she's got to say about it all. My late husband and I were together for 12 years, married for 8. He passed away in early 22. Filming for the show took place at the end of 22, early 23. Well, we know at least this part is not true. Also, given that it's only less than a year ago, I don't know why she was so unspecific with the actual date. Anyway, she continues. Also, my children knew Razvan as being my friend only, nothing more. My children are my world, and I would never do anything to cause them trauma or pain. If my children wanted to carry their father's ashes around with them for 5 years, I'd let them. So that was sort of an attempt to say, these timelines are completely wrong. She also said this as well. Shout out to the excellent keyboard detectives on Reddit. You're truly out here doing great work. You've gotten everything right so far, with the exception of pretty much everything. So please, continue. Don't give up. You got this. Guys, Amanda really is a card. Amanda, if it doesn't all work out with Razvan, the moment that writer strikes over, there's a comedy writing team just waiting for your wits. But enough of all that. Let's get on to the juicy stuff. Guys, as ever, I hopped over to In Touch Weekly, and they let us know that Amanda Wilhelm has a prior battery charge for attacking a woman. So on August the 27th, 2010, Amanda was arrested after intentionally touching and striking a woman named Kayla Patton against her will in Bay County, Florida. Interesting. So those of you who are able to count, not you Amanda, will realise that she was just 19 years old at the time. And she was allegedly accompanied and assisted by a man named Jeremiah Means. And so according to the arrest warrant, Amanda Green, obviously her maiden name, repeatedly and intentionally struck Kayla with her hands and wrestled Kayla to the ground, causing abrasions on Kayla's left knee and both elbows, causing redness and bleeding. But it also said that Jeremiah assisted Amanda by holding Kayla down while Amanda was hitting and wrestling her against her will on Kayla's property. So it sounds like the two of them have driven over to where Kayla lives. And so Amanda has a significantly different version of this story. And so according to Amanda, here's what happened. She had an argument earlier in the day with Kayla, and so she and Jeremiah were on their way home but decided to stop by Kayla's house to make amends for the bad situation that existed between them. Amanda said she then saw Kayla and another girl, Christine, walking down the road, and that Kayla had a red baseball bat in her hand. After getting out of the car to speak with Kayla, Amanda said Kayla attacked her and hit her on the knee with a bat, forcing Amanda to defend herself. And so that was Amanda's version of events. But Kayla, the girl that was beaten up, has quite a different story. Kayla said that her and a friend were walking down the street and Amanda and this Jeremiah drew up beside them and just literally attacked them. And so the police were called and Amanda and Jeremiah were both arrested. And according to the incident report, it became clear at this time that a crime had been committed. And following this incident, Amanda was duly charged with battery. And so then, what's known as a deferred judgment was entered into the court. So for those of you who don't know, in a deferred judgment, the defendant must enter a guilty plea. And this was done in October 2010. As part of this agreement, Amanda was required to complete community service and anger management. Guys, I've got to say, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. I always kind of knew there was a shady side to Amanda. Even when she was talking to Razvan on the show, she quite often would say, yeah, so, and, what? And she's got a very cocky and confrontational side to her. And I always wondered where that came from. Even when she was talking to Razvan's friend Diana, and Diana was saying, you know, when you look at Razvan, you look as if you hate him. Amanda at one point gave a very sarcastic laugh. And at the time I wasn't sure what to make of it, and I thought it might be a nervous laugh. But now I know it was what I thought it was. And that's that cocky laugh that means I don't give an F what you think kind of laugh. And usually people that do these sorts of things are not that worried about their physicality, because it's the kind of laugh that would, I don't know, maybe get you a thick ear by someone like Diana. So that's really the goss on Amanda. Now on to her family. And it would seem that Amanda had somewhat of a chaotic upbringing, because her mum, who sadly passed away in 2019, had quite the rap sheet herself. And according to Starcasm.net, and guys, I'll link details of the article in information below, they allege that Amanda's mum had a very extensive arrest history, and this included charges of assault, DV, possession of drug paraphernalia, and a house of illegal fame. Now, when I looked at this, I thought, what exactly does that mean? I thought I knew, but I wasn't quite sure. Guys, it's what we would call in England a house of ill repute, which is another term for a brothel. So her mum was no stranger to the police either. And next up, Amanda's sister. And again, according to Starcasm, Amber, who's the sister that appeared on the show, was part of a history-making meth bust. And she's been to prison, but she's currently sober, engaged, and turning her life around. And a recent update on Facebook says, been a while since I've held a job for a year, super proud of myself. Now it's time to stop having so much fun and start building my savings account up. And guys, there's a whole plethora of mugshots which show that Amber had been in trouble again and again with police. So guys, that's about it for the gossip on Amanda. And I do wonder how much Razvan knows about all of this. And it would seem as if she had quite a chaotic upbringing and early life. And it would seem as if Jason was a very stabilising influence on her. And so fingers crossed she doesn't go back to her old ways. But guys, what do you make to all of this? Are you surprised? Or does she, like she does me, give you teen mum tease? She seems to me like a naughty little girl. And she also seems as if she's got a little bit of empathy missing for other people. But I don't know. I guess I'll see what the next few weeks bring. But guys, I'd love to know what you think. So please put your comments down below and I'll get on with my next video. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, please press that big red button marked subscribe to make Ebird a very happy Ebird. You've been listening to Ebird Online and I bid you good day. Baby,